So there's this gentleman that is a Hawaiian psychiatrist. That there's a story that he healed a whole ward of psychiatric patients by simply doing work on himself and by getting himself into the light, let's call it. And then there's an immediate effect. You see the wave, at the wave level we're one. So when I am okay, I make you, or if you feel that. So the resurrected self heals. The resurrected self is not at war. It's a major miss when we unite, integrate the opposites in ourselves, when we contain the shadow, when we realize that the evil we're seeing outside is in ourselves, and that we are projecting onto that evil what we are actually doing. Jung realized that then there's this portal that's opened towards what we could call the great light, the shadowless light. That light is what overshadows us and what heals. The resurrected person heals. Jesus healed people and fed people and loved people. That's the true spiritual war, if you wish, but it's not a war. So we know that when the self is totally whole, that's what the story goes, that this great light is what overshadows, heals, radiates in us, and that affects everything around us. That's the way the Buddha or the Christ affects the world, by this inner work. And we also know that when the self descends to the densest level, the ego, also a portal is opened, a spiral, which also opens up the person to the lower levels. No one says that there are no lower levels and higher levels, but it's not evil versus good. You see, they're dense beings that have descended to great density, and there are also beings that have ascended to extreme light. And we know that those persons that have ascended, that have resurrected, that they connect to those other ascended. Equally, we know that those that descend to extreme density also connect to other dense beings. They're not evil. The beings that are lost in this war with the environment, with the other, because they experience themselves as completely disconnected. this is what it's really about. And Jesus left. Look, I am not a religious person. Okay. What we know from work with the dreams is that at the beginning of this 2,000 years, that there was a master that came with the blueprint of the development that had to occur in this Platonic month, if you wish. And we know that because we know that in Jungian work, this blueprint was encountered, and that this is the way that the person has to evolve into in order to make the next step. Ascension means ascending out of that density of the ego, which is a cog, a particle, and becoming back a wave, which is light. But that wave does not see itself as separate. Hence, that wave would never want to hurt another. Hence, that wave would not change the other, but will affect the other by changing self. That is not submitting to the other. Absolutely not. That is not letting the so-called external world make one react in ways that one deep down does not want to do. To force me into a war while all my values and my principles are against that. The real self, the real individual, does not react to the other, because deep down the real self, the real individual knows that I am one with everything. I change the world when I change. The real self is working on the self and healing through the self. And we know, we have footage of this portal, because ascension means that we move up in density. And we know that when that real self is active, that there's this portal that opens with the great light. This is basically what the way of the cross means and meant. And this is what happened when Jesus was on the cross, that the heavens opened.
So how Jung went on this walk, this way? How did he start doing that?
Exactly. You know, there's a strange account, but when I received the Red Book, that night I had a dream, and in the dream was shown to me how Jung got on this way. And it was told to me that Jung, when he went to visit the American Indians, that, and I haven't read this anywhere, that they did a ritual with him, a ritual, and in that ritual, this process was revealed to Jung of the split, the separation into the polarity. And the dream said that a reconnection was made between these opposites, and that after that this was responsible for the great advances that Jung went on to make in his work. And this is the only way. This accounts for Jung's work, because Jung went on to realize that the journey that had to be made was inwards,